Again, yes, it's me, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to have a look at it. Okay, what's this week's question? It comes from, again, a PM versus CM gig for, this time, PMI Portugal. And it was quite an intriguing question asked by Ana Fonseca. I'm still trying to find out who Ana Fonseca is, by the way. How would a triangle... Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. I sometimes do have. Sorry. How would a triangle between PMO, PM and CM be managed in terms of tasks and responsibilities? It's a topical subject at the moment on LinkedIn. Loads of different posts, etc. and polls, and I'll mention a couple at the end. So yeah, very topical. So that's why I'm tackling the question. Okay, let's first talk PMOs. A PMO, or Project Management Office for those who don't know, is an internal or an external group that defines and maintains project management standards across an organisation. PMOs are responsible for maintaining best practices, or good practices as I call them, and documenting project status and strategy in one place. Most PMOs have no portfolio functions, do not take part in project selection, and do not own project resources. Did you know that? However, organisations tend to continuously trickle more and more work, coverage areas, responsibilities, and the PMO finds itself having to manage a lot more scope with less. Okay, so what does this tell me? It tells me that the PMO and the project manager have to have a very, very good working relationship between them, as the PMO has to adhere to all the processes, procedures and best practices as governed by the PMO. Unfortunately, organisations still don't understand how to fully leverage their PMOs to optimise the return on investment they're making in them. If that lack of understanding of value continues, well, we all know what's going to happen to PMOs. No more, gone. Yeah? Excuse me, my itchy nose. There are many reasons for this lack of understanding, but PMO leaders have to work with their leadership teams to help establish all the areas where they can add value and then obtain a definitive mandate to deliver that value. Not only will that help secure a productive future for the PMO, it will also increase the organisation's overall capability. Going back to the question, which also includes the role of change manager, should that role be included in the sphere or the roles and responsibilities of a PMO? Question mark. Now, the pessimist in me, and what I've said before, says no, because the totally different activities a PM and a CM perform. But on the other hand, so long as organisations can get to grips with how a PMO should be run, and PMOs are able to get to grips with how with change management activities, then there is no reason why they can't. But I have to say, at the moment, the way things are, it's not a natural fit, because organisational change is a separate discipline that has its own highly qualified practitioners. Of course, I would say that, wouldn't I? Okay, let me explain. The roles and responsibilities of a CMO are somewhat more dynamic, and less structured than a PM. So we can't really compare with a structured approach of the PM, who will be responsible for reporting milestones, deliverables, and adhering to the reporting standards of the PMO, to that of the more free-form activities of a change manager. Further, organisational change deals with those funny people things out there, the impacted stakeholders, at a time when they can be under immense stress, dealing with highly disruptive transformations to the work they are doing. It's critical to have the best possible people leading that work, and that's organisational change management in a nutshell. The other thing is that it's called the Project Management Office, which is a pointer to its focus. Yeah, so there would indeed need to be a shift in both the way a PMO operates and also what it's called, more about that later, to be able to include the roles and responsibilities of change managers. All right, so what about change management or organisational change management offices? Yeah. Research from ProSci shows that the change management office is increasingly used to build enterprise change management capabilities across the board to support organisational agility and to increase change readiness. In 2017, 40% of the organisations reported having a CMO, Change Management Office, or a functional group dedicated to change activities. I wonder what the figure is now. Probably a lot higher. Larger organisations were more likely to have a CMO, especially. A CMO should not be mixed up with an office supporting one change activity, like a project office. A change management office may be established to support a single change activity on a temporary basis. Now, from a white paper by Agile Change Management Limited, it says a CMO is there to provide the organisation with a focal point for governing, structuring and implementing change initiatives. It provides oversight, of all change activities planned and underway, and ensures it is delivered effectively through the application of a consistent model or methodology and appropriate performance metrics. The CMO supports the decision making associated with evaluating proposals for change and supports the delivery, included but not limited to the continuous development of change management skills in managers and staff via the transfer of knowledge from the CMO to anyone responsible for or impacted by the change. That's a very important point. Okay. A CMO is a vital component of effective change. It is staffed by skilled and experienced change professionals who provide a centre of excellence for change management within the organisation. The CMO provides vital information to sponsors and senior managers to ensure they can authorise the right changes at the right time. The CMO supports those managers responsible for specific change initiatives by providing resources and information that would be a duplication of effort if created by each initiative. Next, from a PMI article, Project Management Institute article, it says the reason why PMOs are not currently seen as key players in organisational change management is largely because projects are not seen as directly part of it either. Interesting comment. That may sound quite a silly thing to say, but for most organisational change management professionals, their focus is on, as I said, people, preparing and supporting those affected by the change to adjust with minimal stress and disruption. The perception of project management, not just by change practitioners, but most non-project people, is that it is focused on work, tangible deliverables that enable the change to occur, but they are not directly part of the process of changing, despite calling themselves change makers nowadays. Projects are vehicles for delivering change. if an organisation wants to start doing something, if an organisation wants to start doing something, sorry about that, change something it already does, or even stop doing something it approves a project. Boom, go for it. That project will deliver and create a new baseline for what an organisation does until the next change comes along. However, there is a shift that is starting to take place. Okay, projects are increasingly being seen as enablers of outcomes, not simply deliverers of outputs. In other words, projects are recognised as contributors to business benefits, which with PMs and their teams being measured by their ability to hand over solutions that allow business goals to be met. And finally, there is now also talk of transformation offices, TOs or TMOs or whatever you want to call them. Isolde Kanikani has a poll at the moment on LinkedIn which asks, which structure would you choose to optimize internal project management initiatives, connection with business outcomes and change management? The current standings as at today, while I'm recording this video, which is the 22nd of September, with 129 votes, it stands at Transformation Office 55%, Project Management Office 17%, Change Management Office 25%, and other or whatever, and she said please comment, 3%. So looks like transformation offices are, the way to go, and PMOs are sort of on their way out. In addition, I have another connection called Hatem Shaheb, and he posted on LinkedIn recently that there were a lot of debates and posts on PMO versus transformation management offices. He said, for the sake of knowledge sharing, I am attaching the evolution from PMO to TMO, especially when leading sector-wise transformation. I can't show you it, so I'll just quote from it, okay? PMO, he says, focuses on achieving project efficiency. For an example, that projects are on time, on budget, and following a standard methodology. Yep. A CMO focuses on delivering value and manage change management strategy as part of the SMO. I'm not sure what he meant by SMO, maybe PMO, I don't know. I'm just quoting direct. And that we are gradually realising our expected outcomes. Then he goes on to talk about TMO, focuses on steering profound, robust, disruptive change and adapting to change while remaining relevant to our stakeholders, sector and society at large. Interesting definitions, Hatem, which I suppose I could talk about, but this video has actually gone on quite long already, over 13 minutes at the moment. So to be honest, if I carried on, I'm not even sure I've answered the question or not. What do you think? Did I answer the question? I don't know. Anyway, at 13:30, thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.